Welcome back, everyone. Brother Neil Frazier in the house once again. Even though time is moving fast and it seems like the weeks are flying by, the only good thing about that is that we get to hear your show and experience your show faster. And you've been keeping up. Yes, you've been keeping up. You've been bringing the good stuff, and I'm really interested in this particular topic tonight. Seriously, I'm going to flash the banner for a second.
Okay.
We get the title up here. The title is Civil War Number 2, Migrant Crisis and the Coming Paradigm Shift. Wow.
Yeah.
The coming paradigm shift. That is something, brother. Talk to me. How are you?
I'm doing great, Brother Lance. Good to connect with you again today on Monday. It does seem like the time go by real fast. I had a pretty good weekend. One of my ex-teammates I hadn't seen in 32 years came here to San Francisco to, and we watched me and his wife, we watched the game, right? And it was just good chopping up with him and talking about, all the years that have gone by and how things, although they seem to change, have not really changed. But, it's always good to see, people that were a part of your life when you were younger help shape your personality. But, again, brother, I want to greet you, all the great videos. Again, I try to keep up with some of them. But, I always tell you it's one of me. It seems like it's three of you. But kudos to you. Greetings to everybody out there in the chat room. But, we have some serious stuff to talk about today. As you correctly said, Civil War II, the migrant crisis, and the coming Civil War. And one of the things that, as I begin to research this and look at this, because a lot of times when we look at the news to get information, we know that we're not getting the real information. We're getting a narrative that has been edited maybe 100 times, but we're not getting the real truth on the ground. Or like you like to say, boots on the ground. We're not getting that. They have effectively taken away. You remember the days where we had real journalism, where people were out in the streets reporting things, as they happen. Well, they've taken away that from the American people. So now we have to rely on people like yourself to bring the truth and, different platforms that are dealing with this, because I don't want to say we're forced to do this, but again, we're at war, so we have to fight back. We either have to fight back or dig holes to go hide in. Okay, that's basically what it comes down to. But, if you would put that first picture up there, brother, of the Civil War, I'll start out with that.
Okay. Let me grab it here. It should be.
Oh, yeah, great.
Brother?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Because the way I have them, I downloaded them, but it wasn't in any particular order, or the order was shifted. So just let me know what it looks like, and I'll try my best to go through it. Okay.
Okay, bet. That's great. So first I want to give a definition of what a paradigm shift is. I know many people may know, but I just want to reiterate this. But a paradigm shift is a major change in how people think and get things done that upends and replaces an existing state of existence. It's a major change in the worldwide concepts and practices of how something works or is accomplished. A paradigm shift can appear within a wide variety of contexts, as we'll see today, from scientific research to just any industry. So let's address this Civil War issue. No matter what people say with this political rhetoric, okay, the Civil War was fought over you. This has been the foundational crisis of our country. and the seeds of it that has germinated is still present in our society today. Okay, it's always been this divide. I forgot how many Americans died, but it was a lot, hundreds of thousands. Okay, but this picture shows you how intense, okay, this war and fight for the fundamental issue that have always existed in our country, and that's you. You have always been the focus of the economic foundation as well as the social structure in this country. And so, again, this first Civil War that was fought over black people because what you did for this country changed this country forever. Okay, the things that, and we've gone over this in the videos previously. I won't go into it, but I just want this picture to sink in because somehow we have people out here trying to say that this war was not fought over black folks when we know that it was. Okay, so what is a civil war? A civil war is when you have two factions of ideologies warring against each other. And there's always something at stake that they're warring over. And again, in this case, it was you, the wealth that you created for this country, and the fact that if you were not going to be this free labor class again, then they were willing to fight to the death in order to keep you in this state of existence. And keep this in mind, okay? Keep this in mind because as we go through this, this is very, very important because the paradigm shift that's taking place has a lot to do with what you're looking at right now, okay? So the Civil War, in my opinion, okay, others may agree, Civil War II is putting Americans against the people we call migrants. Okay, this is a plan to destabilize the economy. And one of the reasons why they want to destabilize the country is because they have done everything possible, okay, to eliminate black people. Okay, we all know the list, okay? The guns that they brought in our community, the drugs, putting us at the bottom of the financial network in this country, where we're never able to set up any type of corporate structure on our own, okay, by design. So this is a calculated, orchestrated plan that has been in the works for decades. Even when you go back to the Nixon administration in 1971, this is where it really all started, okay, where the United States government sold out the American people to China, okay, and then, from that point on, we saw this media propaganda that always told us that American government and the corporations were fighting for our rights, when in actuality they were fighting for the rights of the global elite and the people that control America. Okay, brother, you can remove that. I wanna talk about a couple of things here. If you see the picture where those trucks are going down the highway towards Mexico from America, I wanted to talk about that for a second.
Okay, I'll look for that one.
Okay, so
Oh, I see it. I see it. You want me to put it up?
okay, yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Do me a favor and tilt your
Oh,
phone
okay, up.
back. Yeah, the top back. Yeah, that way you're more
That's good.
centered. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. I'm gonna bring that photo now.
okay,
Just lost it. Wait a second.
no problem. But yes,
Here you go.
okay. So one of the things, part of the deception, the decades-long deception that they have perpetrated on the American people, okay, and we always know that when America has a cold, we have a flu, okay? But these trade wars that they talk about is fake, okay? And I'm going to show you today why they're fake. But this civil war includes America, China, and Mexico, okay? And it's a global power realignment, okay, or paradigm shift, because 5 to 10 of the major manufacturers, including General Motors, have all moved their plants to Mexico, okay? So they can say whatever they want. Those of us that know, we know that the American government, and we're going to show why, is deliberately allowing these people into the country, okay, because of the trade deficit that they have with Mexico and China. What are they battling over? They're battling over the resources, okay, because again, the old saying, he who controls the gold controls the world. And so we have this battle. They tell us that it's a trade war, when in fact, the United States have always been a partner with China and Mexico. Okay, so, these lies that they spew out to try to act as if our corporation, because it's really our corporations, okay, that run the world. They actually put forth policies that our politicians regurgitate because of kickbacks that they get, in all industries, and we're going to take a look at that. But I want you to take a good look at these trucks. These trucks, okay, they're headed to the border. Okay, these are trucks from American corporations. Okay, they're headed to the border to Mexico like they do every single day. This is not covered. They keep us hoodwinked, with other things that are going on. But this is what they're doing. They have de-invest in America. And not just black people are going to suffer from this, although we're going to suffer the most. Now white people are beginning to see the handwriting on the wall. Okay. So let's talk about some of the weapons that are going to be used, or that is being used in this civil war too. Okay. The weapons are economic chaos, food shortages, lawlessness, utilities, homelessness, unemployment, incarceration, taxes on the American people, culture wars, surveillance, and crime. Now there's a word that, many people are unfamiliar with. It's called corporatocracy, okay? And what corporatocracy means is it's a economic, political, and judicial system controlled by business, corporations, or for corporate interests. Okay, Brother Lance, if you would put that the picture of the spider that I have with the different corporate structures that are connected around the world. It says World Wide Web.
Okay, I think, is this it? Because I see them small. That's not it.
Oh, okay. No, it's like a spider, and it's connected to different words. It's like a black, not that one. It's next to that, I believe.
Okay. Only reason why I'm not seeing it. Okay, there it is. Because the thumbnail is so tiny. So that's why it's not like it's big. But go ahead, brother. I'm good.
Okay. So as you can see here, one of the things about the spider, and I always like to use something in nature before I actually go into an explanation, is that the spider's web, the silk, is the strongest substance or fiber in the world. It is even stronger than steel. Okay, and so the spider uses deception to catch its prey. And I remember seeing this documentary about spiders where this spider set up an elaborate web all the way across a river, because that is where the dragonflies, the direction they were flying in. But it was an invisible web. You couldn't even see it until it was too late. But one of the things that in that statement I made about the corporatocracy, okay, and how it's part of a economic, political, and judicial system that's controlled by businesses, corporations, or corporate interests. And each one of these areas, from the judicial system, okay, to employment, to law enforcement, to military, to religion, to education, all of these are a part of the same system. And why is this important? This is important because these systems are controlled by factions outside of our ability to affect it. Okay, so one of the reasons, and Lance and I was talking about this earlier, where we constantly call for unity for our people, with the realization now that this may never happen, is that all of these industries are a part of this paradigm shift. They are at the forefront of this civil war, and they are the ones that are driving, okay, this migrant crisis, okay, in order to replace black people. Okay, this is, no matter what kind of spin they put on this is what's happening. Okay, this is why the border is open. Okay, and this is why they're going into major cities where blacks have the highest populace. Okay, this is something that anybody can clearly see. But the reason why all of these systemic connections and network are part of this Civil War too, is because they are the ones that are responsible for the decades of this being the way it is. And we're going to look at this and talk about this also as well. And I have a picture. You don't have to show it, Lance, but it's a picture of the big freights that come in from China every day. You can go right down here at the wharf and see them. Okay, they come in every day. Yeah, that's them. Now, they tell us that we are in a trade war with China. That is not true, and I'm going to give you the statistics to show you why that's not true. Okay, the U.S. trade deficit with China is almost $500 billion. Okay, it's $429.2 billion. One of the things that they're not showing, okay, on TV is that this is another thing that's orchestrated. It's not just, although the migrants represent the largest percentage of people coming through our southern border, okay, again, which is orchestrated because of corporatocracy and the spider web that I showed you that's connected to all of the different systems in the world, and America in particular, is that Chinese migrants are the fastest growing group crossing from Mexico to the U.S. At the southern border, they're also entering the U.S. from San Diego into California. Now, I don't know if you saw that, Lance, or not, but
yeah, I heard about that.
yes. And so they showed a border guard that was standing there looking the other way. They're coming through the damn fence 25 feet away from him, and he's looking in the opposite direction. Like, you know how it is when you trying to act like you know something is going on, but you're trying to act like you don't know what's going on.
Right, right.
You know, the okey doke. But these Chinese immigrants too, I don't believe that they're just regular Chinese citizens. Okay, first of all, because they don't have the money to come to this country. These are people that have been targeted by Chinese corporations that have a trade partnership and alignment with the U.S. with U.S. corporations and the U.S. government. Okay, we also talked about. Okay, you can remove that one, Lance. I want to show. Okay, the one with the snake. I want to put that up there, and the reason why I want to put this up is because we have always been, and I don't know if you can see it, but you see the snake with the double forked tongue. Okay, this is a reality for our people. We have always been lied to. Okay, they never had any intention of doing anything to up. Black people have, they talk about pull yourself up by your bootstraps. How about pulling yourself up by your toes and your fingers and your feet and your arms and your legs and your eyes and your ears? Because Black people have had to use everything in our arsenal, okay, to fight against, even when we knew or know that this double forked tongue system is hoodwinking us. We clearly know that they are. And, I hear people talking about different things and changes or what have you, but this aspect of it has never changed. Okay, and as we saw with the first three pictures with the Civil War that was fought over Black folks, hundreds of thousands of Americans killed because of you. We saw with the caravan of trucks that go to Mexico every day that's never reported, that where all the jobs have gone because the United States, and we're getting ready to talk about that right now, the United States have these huge trade deficits with these two countries, as well as everything that's imported into this country is imported with these two trade partners. There is no trade wars going on. Okay, this is a lie. This is a double forked tongue propaganda and narrative. And again, white people have the financial wherewithal to overcome this, where we don't. And this is one of the reasons why for decades we have been crying to our people, okay, to let's do something. All of our great ancestors, the one thing they constantly said is learn to do for self. But again, our definition of that, okay, is glitter and gold, or a fake glitter and gold. Okay, that has nothing to do with us building the foundation that we have. And now they are blatantly bringing millions of people into this country, okay, that they know that's going to work for $5 an hour, because again, these things that are planned decades in advance. Okay, this is not something that was just planned 5 or 10 years ago. The first thing we know is the destabilization of these countries. When you look at Venezuela and the inflation rate there, 249%, where a loaf of bread costs $15. See, this is because when you look at some of the behavior that they're existing, it's because they have been denied the basic things that you need: food, shelter, and clothing. And if you want to bring out the animalistic behavior of human beings, okay, you put them in a trap like you do a rat, okay, and see what happens. When you look at countries in Central America, you're looking at 124% inflation. Okay, so when people have lived under these conditions for decades, and then they come here to what is perceived as the land of milk and honey, because we already know that the American propaganda machine lies about Black Americans to these people before they even come to this country. And as I said before, when you are perceived as the ones that are taking food out of their mouth and their children's mouths, even though this is our country, then you are a target. And again, you can look at this snake and see. One of the reasons I chose this is because obviously they are using the homosexual angle as well to destabilize the American moral and ethic foundation. Okay, and I'm talking about with Black folks, okay, because when you start talking about morals and ethics, again, these are things that we're told, but behind closed doors, that's thrown out of the window. Okay. All right, brother. The next picture I want to show, you see the one with the wolf and the sheep? I want to talk about, I want to talk about that for a second. That's it. Now, when you look at the sheep and you look at the behavior that defines a sheep, this is the position that they want to keep our people in. Okay, and I will say this: our people do fight back when their backs are against the wall, even though, you know, we exhibit, maybe not in our behavior, but in our psyche, we exhibit a type of sheep-like behavior. And that is because we are, like the picture we just saw of the snake, the wolf is an apex predator. So, no, I'd rather deal with a wolf than a fox, because a fox is going to tell you something that you want to hear. This is the problem that we have in politics, where they tell our people, they keep us in a sheep-like state, because a sheep is not going to be aggressive against people they think are on their side or helping them. Okay. And then if there is a shepherd that's misguiding them, then it's all over for them. But this is the position our people have always found themselves in. I know we don't like to think of ourselves this way, but this docile position that they have always had us in has a lot to do with the things, the way that we interpret, okay, this wolf-like system. And one of the ways they keep our people off guard is through religion. Let's face it, you know. They use religion where they tell our people that, you know, we're serving the same God, okay, or the same creator. And, you know, that there is within this system of religion, then you're loved, okay, by a wolf and by a snake. Okay. Now, all you have to do is stop lying to yourself, and you know that in nature this is impossible, because if you see a wolf, they're going to kill you. They're going to eat your flesh, and they're going to drink your blood. The same thing with a poisonous snake, that cobra. If that cobra hits you, you have a short window of time to get that anti-venom to live. Okay? So the reality is that this Civil War II that has been created, okay, has been created in order to continue to keep our people in sheep-like state. We know this because, and we're going to go back and talk about this when we talk about the weapons, okay? But I just want to cover a few more things before we go back and talk about this. The U.S. trade deficit in Mexico is $152.4 billion. Now, an interesting thing happened. Thank you, Brother Lance. That kind of got swept under the media. Well, not swept. This was because, again, we focus on the government a lot, which is true. The government is behind everything that happens in this country and in the world. Okay. However, we underestimate the power of the U.S. corporations that have an effect on us in all of the areas that I showed with the spider. Okay. And we're going to see this very clearly. But what happened was Mexico replaced China, okay, as the top exporter to the U.S. in 2023. This is very, very significant. And so there is a agreement, I believe, with the Mexican government and our government that they were going to allow this type of thing to happen at the U.S. southern border, where people can just crash, invade the country, okay, and make it look like, it's some type of, illegal immigration, when it's something that has been planned for decades, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, but yeah, so Mexico, and this is very significant, has replaced China. This is why we went from, depending on China so much. Now our corporate manufacturers and major plants are in Mexico. So they're doing trade with America. So what happens is the American corporations no longer want to pay you $20 an hour, $30, or whatever they're paying you. Okay? Because of the system, and I always show this of the serf and peasant against the lord, kings, and knights. And see, the corporations are the ones that are fueling, okay, this Civil War II, because they are not going to pay black people anymore what they are worth, okay, and what they know that they owe black people. Okay, they are not going to do that. Okay, and so this is the most asinine thing that a government and the corporations that have become wealthy off the backs of our ancestors can do. Okay, so the trade deficit with Mexico, Mexico replaces China as the top exporter to the U.S. in 2023 of a staggering $475.6 billion, or $500 billion. Okay, so again, what they do with the double forked tongue is, while they're uploading all this garbage and telling our people and making us have this false hope and showing celebrities and showing bling bling and doing all these other things, okay, they're bamboozling us, okay, because this paradigm shift that's coming, it's going to take us down. It's going to have an effect on Black America. And you know, our people, we've been through a lot. But again, you know, we're going to have to stand up against this. Very proud of the people in Chicago. I don't know what's happening in New York, okay, but our people in New York, they got to stand up too, because again, we're focusing on the migrants, and you know, I know people might get upset with me when I say this, but what has been done to their countries where they came from have made them the way they are. And the reason why they have this attitude is because this is what has been promised to them. Matter of fact, I heard one of the migrants in New York say that. They were interviewing him, and he said, well, I guess all of the things they told us was not true. What is he talking about? What did they tell them? Okay, so you have a situation where they have already equipped them with cell phones, where they forget about, before we even talk about the money, they have a way to communicate that the government is feeding information to them, okay, in this Civil War II, that allows them to navigate the system where the American people that have been here, okay, and blacks in particular, okay, are the ones that's being affected by this. Okay, so this is the first time that Mexico in 20 years became the leading source of goods imported by the U.S. And as I said, this is the invasion of the body snatchers, because there's no question you're being replaced. Okay, and we're going to have to take some drastic actions to fight against this. But replacing black people is orchestrated. Now, when I said that I'm going to give you proof of the fact that they are orchestrating this, it's right here. The latest report is that the government is giving temporary protected status to an estimated 472,000, Venezuelans who arrived in 2023. This act alone allows them to work in the U.S. Okay. Now, I'm going to read that again in case it didn't sink in. So this Civil War, okay, was set up basically with the same mentality that you saw from the first Civil War. It was because of you. Because believe it or not, this has always been the fundamental issue in America, black people. And it will always be, because you are so valuable to the existence of this country. So now they want to take away whatever little power you gain, okay, by fighting like hell to get to where we've gotten. But I want to read this again. This is something they're not talking about. All you're talking about is showing people coming across the border. But they're not telling you that this was orchestrated, and that they are providing the financial means for this to happen, because they are partners with China and Mexico. There is no trade war going on. That is a blatant lie. The government is giving temporary protective status, get this, to an estimated 472,000, okay, 472,000 Venezuelans who, because, again, I want to go back to this hyperinflation, 249% inflation, where a loaf of bread costs $15 to $20 in Venezuela. Okay. And then you got people who have lived under these conditions for decades. What do you think they're going to do when they come here? They're gonna work any kind of job they can get, because $5 to them is like $100 an hour. And this is what our people are not seeing. This is why this attitude exists, because this is literally, you're talking about going to a land of milk and honey. This is their land of milk and honey. Okay. But this act allows them to work in the U.S. So, I don't know why people are saying that, it's going to take them X amount of years to go through the court system. They're telling you that. Okay. And like that double forked tongue snake that I showed you, they are telling you that. When right here we know, okay, that they have already made provisions for them to work in this country. 472,000 people. Okay. And on top of that, 40% of the 60,000 migrants seeking housing in New York City, the city is paying to house Venezuelans. See, this is not what they're telling you. Okay. So they got us focused on people from Central America, but that's the okie doke. Okay. That is, they have some type of standard agreement with Venezuela, the Venezuelan government, okay, that because they collapsed their economy, that they're going to now bring that labor force here. Okay. And this is what the Civil War II is. It's the fight over who is going to be the next labor class. Because remember, again, no matter what they tell you, we are in that feudal system. And they have to have that labor class, that serf and peasant class, okay, in order for them, for the profit and the greed that they enjoy to continue to exist. And you're standing in the way of that. That's how they look at you. Okay. So you can kumbaya and think that, people love you because they're preaching to you, and stuff like that, and quoting scriptures to you, but that is not what's going on. Okay. So let's talk about these weapons. Okay. First of all, let me define the definition of weapons. A weapon is a thing designed or used for inflicting bodily harm or physical damage. A means of gaining an advantage or defending oneself in a conflict or contest. Okay, so let me read that again. Okay, a weapon is something designed or used for inflicting bodily harm, like they do on you, or physical damages. It is a means of gaining an advantage of defending oneself, okay, in a conflict or contest. The new paradigm, however, and these are my words, includes the designed psychological weapons used for inflicting harm on you. And let's talk about what that is, or what these weapons are. Let's talk about three things that's very important to our people before we go into the other two. Lance, I have a picture of the unemployment figures there. It's like a bar. Not that one. It's a bar. Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
I think I might have knocked it out by mistake. Let me go find it.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Don't worry about it. I can talk about it without that. But
okay, just give me a second. Yeah.
Okay, but why don't you put up the homelessness picture again? We'll talk about that weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Yeah. Don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about the other one, Brother Lance. It's good. But you know, so what they do is, and I watch these things because it's also a psychological game as well with our people, and sending a dog whistle to other cultures of people. But now when they show, because they know most people watch CBS News in the evening, where you have millions of people watching this, but they're always going to have black people as the face of it, okay? And they're sending you a signal, okay, to let you know, okay, I don't care what they say, they have the money to change homelessness right now. In fact, the hundreds of millions of dollars that's being given to the migrants that come across the border, okay, they can say illegal all they want. It's legal, okay, because they are the ones that's making it legal. So you can get mad at the migrants all you want, but, you know, it's our own corporations and government that's behind this, okay? So let's look at homelessness. Huh? Oh, okay.
Oh no,
Let's
I just threw off again. Repeat what you said, brother.
Oh, about them putting black people as the face of this homelessness.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let me just
Yeah.
let you know, I'm tethering through my phone.
Okay.
My internet module is giving me problems, so I'm gonna have
No
to
problem.
I'm disconnecting. You will continue, but I'm
Okay.
gonna fall off for a second because the charge on the phone is at 5%. We're not gonna make it,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go snatch maybe 10 minutes of a charge and come back.
Okay.
Because and I know you have another photo or so to put up, but this is going to cut out on me, and I won't be able to operate the show. I don't know how the power just went down so fast. So give me at least 6 minutes to charge it up, and I'll be back.
Okay.
For me, it's going to cut off, but you'll still be on the show. So just give me
great.
that. And when I come back, I'll announce my presence. Okay? Thank you so much, brother.
Okay, bro.
All right. Mm-hmm.
So homelessness is rampant in America. 2.5 million children and 7 million Americans per year have no stable place to live. Americans are being forced into obscurity and abject poverty. And homelessness is the result of multiple system failures happening simultaneously. Okay, so again, we're looking at a situation that's orchestrated. And so I started looking back at, you know, when this whole thing really collapsed, you know, and when they used different medical things to put people in certain positions. I won't say the name. We all know what I'm talking about. But something that's very interesting, and I see this here in the Bay Area, is that there is a tremendous amount of new black people that I see out here living like this. And I got a chance to speak to a few of them. And interestingly enough, a lot of these people work or used to work before they found themselves, and because it's a double-edged sword. Once you get to this level, okay, then it's hard for you to get any kind of services. It's hard for you to get a job because you have to have a stable residence, a telephone, okay, for people to contact you in order, and they use this against our people. So the minute you say that you're homeless, or the minute you appear to be homeless, then they look at it as, okay, one more person, you know the word they use, that we don't have to worry about. Okay, so we can just drive them into the ground, and we know that the chances of them ever recovering, okay, is little to none. Now, the interesting thing about this is you got people coming into this country, they're staying in 5-star hotels. Many of these brothers, because I've talked to them, are veterans. Okay? And this is another thing they're not talking about. There's a lot of white veterans out there too. I talk to them all the time. Okay? So, the thing is, and Latino, they're Americans. Okay? Let me put it that way. People born in this country are the ones that's bearing the brunt of this assault on our people. And again, I know that because of the proximity of the migrants being in the black communities, that's going to set up a natural tension and fight. It's really the elected officials that are behind this. Okay, they're the ones, and it almost seems when you look at this guy, this mayor from New York, and the BS he's talking, you can't tell me that this is the person that's making the decisions. There is a hidden hand, okay, behind the scenes that is making the decisions about what's happening in our major cities. And they are almost powerless. They can. So what they do is they put them out in front of the media, of the propaganda, and they make them the face of the problem. Okay, when in effect we know that there is a hidden hand outside, okay, of the constraints and the regulations, okay, of our government that are controlling the people that run our cities. You can clear, because no one in their right mind, okay, would put American citizens in this position, okay, unless there was some type of deliberate act being done. And the deliberate act that's being done, again, as always, in Civil War II, is to drive black people to the bottom of the economic and social ladder in this country. And how does that happen? Okay, that happens as a result of unemployment. That's why I wanted Lance to show the figures, because the thing that, so I'm going to quote some of the data in that picture that I sent to Lance. Hispanics or Latinos, however you want to refer to them, okay, are 63% less likely to be unemployed than black people. Whites are 93% less likely to be unemployed than black people. And Asians, get this, are 104% less likely, okay, to be unemployed than black people. So there you go right there, okay. This is the weapon, okay, the weapon of unemployment. Because if you're in your country, if you're in this country and you don't have a source of income or revenue, then you're like a duck out of water, a fish out of water, okay, because ducks do come out of the water. And this is the image that they want to present before the world, because, again, we know that CBS News, part of this propaganda arm, is seen by millions of people around the world. But they have our face there. They're telling you this is what they're going to do to our people if we don't continue to fight back, okay? That this is what they have planned for you and I, okay? They have always had this plan, okay? And this Civil War II is going to bring about, okay, this paradigm shift where they're going to remove you, put you down here, and then the people that they brought here legally, they can say legal all they want, okay, their plan. The plan is to put them over you. Okay, so if you don't have the means, now let's look at something. We know that whites have over 100% of the capital that we have. Okay, they're going to be there's a certain class that's going to be affected, but for the most part, white people still run the system in the corporations that are engaged in this civil war. Okay, so as we well know, that this has always been a part of their agenda and plan. Okay, there are numerous reasons for this. Okay, but and with those numbers that I just presented to you, okay, that alone, okay, is going to bring about this great paradigm shift that's going to change life as we know it forever. Okay, and again, I don't like to be like a doomsayer or a bringer of bad news, but bad news, it depends on how you perceive it, okay? Because it's actually good news, because it's better to be aware and prepared for something, okay, like we saw with the wolf and the sheep, okay? It's better for you to be aware that there's something that can eat your flesh and drink your blood, a system that is literally doing that, than not to be aware of that. Okay. In addition to unemployment, okay, and the unemployment is going to cause crime. Okay, there's going to be a spike in crime like we see right now. There's a huge spike in crime. Why? Okay, because people have to survive. I talked about the Maslow hierarchy of needs in one of the videos, okay? But all of these things are going to be at risk for our people. One of the things that happens as a result of being in that condition is you lose your self-esteem. Okay, and then you implode, where you have self-destruction, and you blame those that look like you that don't have the power to change the conditions that we're in. So, this is where this comes from. But I want to say to black people today that we're going to have to change our ways. Okay, we're going to have to change our ways and our way of thinking, and we're going, instead of this kumbaya stuff, okay, we're going to have to look at the weapons that are being used against us and who's using these weapons and why they're using them and what we have to do to formulate a coalition, okay, to fight back against this. This is something that we have to do. We have to organize, and we have to, I don't even want to use the word unite anymore, because it's obvious that for whatever reason, that's not going to happen with our people. So those of us, as I was talking with Lance earlier, well, those of us that recognize this, we're going to have to continue to stay organized, to continue to put this message out, to fight against the double forked tongue propaganda that's being told to our people. Now, again, when you're unemployed, okay, and don't have any source of revenue, like many of our people are in this condition, crime is going to increase. And when crime increases, what happens? You go to jail or you go to prison, okay, for committing acts simply. Now, not all of them, but there's a portion of crime that's created out of just the need to survive, okay? And again, I'm not making any excuses for that, but, in America, if you don't have a source of income, and that's that weapon in itself they're using. The other thing that they're using too there are over 6,000 banks, okay, that have closed. Okay. So on the one hand, they're shifting, the paradigm shift is changing on several fronts. Okay. It's changing in the financial world. Okay. Where we don't know why all these banks are closing, but we know that there's a reason for it. And it's obvious that they're going to shift to this digital system, okay, to try to lock us out more, to completely close the door. The other thing is the people that are coming over here, there are no records, okay, criminal, financial, what have you. They have perfect credit, so they'll be able to replace you in your neighborhoods. Okay, all of this is orchestrated. Okay, and it's hard for me, okay, to accept the fact that the people that are running these systems here in this country, okay, will continue to fool our people and smile in our face when they know what they are doing to black people. They know this. They know that the people that they are bringing into this country legally, because I don't use illegal. That's not what's happening here. Okay. Okay, so they know that primarily it's going to be a black and brown civil war. They know this. This is what they have orchestrated and are planning. Okay, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the scarce resources that are now going to people who have to eat, have to be housed, okay, are being taken from, okay, a lot of the services that were provided for the black community. Okay, this is a fact. We can't dance around this, and we can't act like this doesn't exist. And this is going to create an economic chaos. Okay, this is going to create economic chaos, and this economic chaos is going to cause more of the rise of the private prison sector. Okay, this is also orchestrated, okay, because, you know, this is another form of making, you know, lots of fiat. Okay, when you have people that you can incarcerate, okay, put them in a position that when they come out, they'll never be able to work again in your system. Okay, this same system has been set up, okay, for hundreds of years. Okay, this is nothing new. It's just now at a different level. So what is the definition of economic chaos? Economic chaos is a breakdown in normal commerce facilitated, and that's an important word, facilitated by actions such as the destabilization of currency, which they're doing now, and or hyperinflation, which they did in Central America and Venezuela, which results in social chaos, okay, or civil unrest. And you see, this is, not only is there going to be social chaos, but it's going to be civil unrest. So what happens in the case of civil unrest? There's going to be martial law declared, okay? Again, your rights are going to be taken away. A long-term economic state that is characterized by unemployment, which we just talked about, low prices, low levels of trade, and investment. So, again, this economic chaos is one of the weapons that is being orchestrated with this invasion, and it's being orchestrated against you. Let's talk about another weapon, food. The global food shortage in 2023 was a year of famine and hunger. Okay. The global food shortage in 2023 was the biggest year of famine and hunger, is what I meant to say. The UN World Food Program, or the WFP, singled out 2023 as a record year for global food insecurity, which occurs when a person is uncertain how they will obtain their next meal. We all know about GMOs, but the one thing, and I remember talking about this on one of the videos that I did with Brother Lance, is how I had a dream where I saw 7 or 8 like soldier-looking men with full-out gear on, helmet, shields, everything, with AR-15s standing in front of all the grocery stores, and black people standing there pleading to get food. Okay, a day like this is coming. I don't know what's going to be the impetus for this, but this is part of the coming paradigm shift. Okay, and this is what's going to cause, again, economic chaos, because you got to have food. You're going to have people fighting in the streets over food. I believe I heard Lance say one time that people are going to be coming in your home and you can have $5,000 on the table and all they want to get is the food out of your refrigerator.
For real.
Okay? Yeah, this is a reality that's going to happen. And, you know, we've been pleading with our people, okay, to go back to farming, go back to growing your own food. If you go to any place in communities where black people live, all you're going to do is see sugar products on the shelves. That's all you're going to see. And that in itself is a weapon. I know there are plenty of people that have talked about this, but I just want to say that there was a time, you know, when our parents and stuff, they made sure that we ate nutritious food with the right amount of protein. Okay? Now, you could have a little sweets here and there, but that was not your, you know, culinary diet. That was not what you eat greens or soul food. Greens, peas, corn, rice. You know, you ate fruit. You know, make sure you ate veggies, broccoli, my favorite. Nowadays, all of our kids, children, we send to McDonald's, a Burger King, Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, all of these places is where we send our children to eat. Okay? This is going to... A lot of the things that we have now ingrained in our culture, the behaviors, are going to be turned back on us. Okay? Because you can't make anybody sell you food. They can discriminate against you with you being in a store. You can go in a store and they can say, well, you know, you can't shop here today. They have that right. You can go to a restaurant and a restaurant owner can say, you're not, I don't want you eating here. So again, you know, I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe a drone, you know, coming and threatening black people or whatever, but something's got to give. Because we keep waiting and waiting, like you said, Lance, like something to drop. And this comes from, again, religion has put our people in a coma, okay? Because this comes from that, what's the terminology they use? The rapture, or waiting for somebody to come back to change your condition? No, you've been given the ability to change your own condition, okay? And that's the one thing that has done to our people, okay? Nothing's going to ever change for us unless we bring about that change. Now, yeah, you're back, Brother Lance? You're back? Oh, okay. But anyway, there is a picture that I showed with the brother being incarcerated. Okay, this goes hand in hand with this plan, okay, to create and destabilize the economy, to create this civil war, okay, and then, all right, to incarcerate our brothers because they're going to be doing things, again, because we have this relationship with fiat, with this glittering gold that we'll kill our own mama to get. Okay, and so unfortunately, our people will do anything to each other, okay, because very seldom are they going to do it to other people. We're going to take from our own people. We're going to be predators on our own people. We see this behavior in the migrants, okay, because again, you know, when you take somebody out of a condition where they have to operate at an animalistic level because of the conditions, that economic conditions that have been created, and then they open the lab and say, all of you go out, then you're going to get the first thing you get your hands on. Okay, that's just human nature. Whereas we need to be focused not just on the migrants, but on these people that are running these cities, okay, and on the government that has brought these people legally into this country. The other thing that they're going to use is utilities. Okay, we can see this here in California. Okay, one of the things that's happening, and again, I always use a reference. I've worked in the solar business for 7 years. Is that you know, they can do things that you're unaware of. They can actually cut off certain services in order. They can make millions of dollars just by cutting off your electrical service during peak time. Okay, I'm going to give you an example, and this is why this is part of this paradigm shift that's coming, because again, the people that are controlling these utilities, okay, they don't care nothing about black people. Okay, the utility crisis is another form of orchestrated chaos. A demand-supply gap was created by energy companies, mainly Enron, okay, to create artificial shortages. This is what I was talking about. Energy traders, okay, because a lot of the different corporations, they work with the major utility company in each state. Okay, I know this is a fact. All right, but the energy traders, they take power plants offline for maintenance during days of peak demand. This is what I was just talking about. They do this deliberately. Okay, and this is to increase the prices. So the energy prices here in California, electricity in particular, and gas, has gone out of the roof. Okay. There are electric bills in residents, in homes, that are over $1,000. There are gas prices that are $400 and $500, depending on how many people you have living in a house. Okay. Also, the traders or the corporations that are fueling this were thus able to sell power at premium prices. And I get this, sometimes up to a factor of 20 times its normal value. So they're also using the utilities as a weapon, okay? Because they know that, you know, a lot of black people not only struggle to pay rent and mortgage, keep food on the table, what have you, or pay their car note or do all of these things, but now you're blindsiding them, okay, with a punch in the back of the head, okay, with these high gas, and electric prices. And this is also part of this coming paradigm shift, because they ran a trial run where they blacked out New York City. I don't know how long it was for. They did this in another city as well. Because, again, the day is coming where we're going to have to be used to living maybe half of the day without electricity. Okay, that day is coming. Okay, maybe gas, not so much gas, but electricity. They're playing a lot of games with electricity, okay, because they can manipulate the ionosphere with the heart machine. So this is another thing that our people are unaware of, that a lot of the corporations that are in the utility business is driven by greed and profit, they use the same tactic, okay, that I just explained to you. And, again, because our people don't have any subsidiaries of these corporations, where our interests are, we don't have anybody lobbying for our interests like these corporations do, then we're left in a situation where we just have to deal with whatever comes down the pipeline. Okay. And this is a reality that, our people are going to have to live with. Okay. The other thing is a couple more things, a couple more weapons, okay, that they're using, okay, in this civil war, okay, is creating culture wars. Okay, so what is a culture war? Okay, a culture war in the U.S. is identity politics. Okay, so this is why I always try to get you to identify with a certain political party, okay, because it's usually ascribed to those oppressed minority groups, which Black people are part of, who are fighting against discrimination. Now, let me read that again. The creation, they have created this cultural war and this civil war, again, with the people they're bringing legally into this country through the southern border. Okay, they can say legal all they want. It's not illegal. It's legal. Because they shut down a whole country, Iraq, in less than 2 weeks. Okay? Now, if you can shut down the borders of a whole country, okay, how in the hell could you not shut down our southern border? Tell me that. And Iraq is one of the largest countries in the so-called Middle East. We know there's no such thing as the Middle East, but for lack of a better term right now, they shut down a whole country, okay, the borders of a whole country. And, if you can do that, then certainly you can shut down our southern border. So, that's a double forked tongue lie. But they created this cultural war and this civil war in the U.S. by identity politics. Now, here's the other thing about this, okay? The people that they are bringing to this country are going to be diametrically opposed to you and any politics that you might have. Why? It's because this is how they're being trained. They are being indoctrinated, okay, to fight against you. And even though, white Americans and other Americans may feel the effect of it, and what they're doing in effect is they're creating this civil war between Black and brown people. This is an orchestrated creation of a cultural war. Okay. The other thing about a cultural war is it is a conflict between groups. Okay. Because many of the people coming here from these other countries don't speak English. Okay, and that in itself, sets up this conflict between groups of people, that have different cultural ideals, beliefs, or philosophies. Let me say that again. In the U.S., the creation of cultural wars, which is a deliberate plan, it's a game plan that they've had in place for decades, because you have to destabilize a country in order to bring that workforce here, is usually in the U.S., it's identity politics, and it's usually ascribed to those oppressed minority groups who are fighting against discrimination, which is you. A conflict, it's also a conflict between groups that have different cultural ideals, beliefs, or philosophies. And the conflict that emerges when differential values and beliefs of what is acceptable behavior within a society contradict, clash, or fail to coexist. And this is what we're seeing today. We're seeing this clash, between the people that they are brought here, because they have a different way of perceiving the values that we have. Also the beliefs that we have. Even the religion that the majority, I believe it's 70%, maybe 75% are Catholic. But black folks are Protestant. And this in itself is going to set up a serious conflict. And the religion you love so much is going to set up a serious conflict, because they believe and they have been indoctrinated about the Virgin Mary, the Rosary beads, which our black folks know nothing about. But yet you're spewing the same religious rhetoric, but they're using, and I forgot how many denominations there are in the Protestant aspect of Christianity. I think it's over 3,500, something crazy. But what you got to understand is, in Catholicism, it's one connection, and this is where, again, is going to hype up this civil war. It's going to create religion of the people that are being brought to this country is going to be one of the major fuels behind this conflict and this paradigm shift that is coming. And it's not going to take a whole, it's going to, in 2024, it's going to bust out. It's going to break out. We're going to clearly be up against something that we, up until this time, have never faced. It's one thing when you are fighting against people that control the system that's oppressing you. It's another thing when you're fighting against people who are dependent on those same systems, in order for their survival and their children's survival. That changes everything. And again, the conflict that emerges when these differential values exist and beliefs of what is acceptable behavior. Again, the other thing too is they are used to fighting in the streets. Again, because of the lack of resources, they're used to this gangland behavior in order to survive, and they're bringing that here. Whereas in our country, even though we do have crime, it's not all out chaos that like what we're seeing. It's not this attitude where there is no respect for this total lawlessness, and chaotic lawlessness, that contradict, clash, and fail to coexist with the things that we believe in. And so this is where we're at. this is where we're at as a people, as a country now. We can't continue to function the same way that we've been functioning and believing in these systems where we have always put all of our faith and eggs in one basket. Okay. And, you know, even if you just use the tactics that we have learned from this oppressive system, where you don't put all of your eggs in one basket. You have competing factions so that you can make a choice that best benefits you. But again, you know, to use a political term, quid pro quo, something for something, not something for nothing. And this is what our people, now, what I saw in Chicago, yes, our people have to stand up and say, no, no more. You're not going to do this to us, okay, after all we have invested in this country, that our people have bled and died for, that have built this wealth here in this country, and that can continue to do that. No, we're not going to do that. So, in closing, I know that our people that are living in the cities with, I mean, they're here too. It may not be as, because California has always had this influx of, you know, people from all cultures. So it's not as maybe intense, but at the same time, the people who are not used to this, and now they have to, fight for these resources. Yes, their anger is going to be directed towards the people that they have brought into this country. But we really need to redirect our anger towards, and it's very unfortunate that the face of the people that are making these decisions, which we know is not true, is our brothers that they put up on the cameras, like the brother in New York and the one in Chicago. It's clear, because nobody in their right mind. That's why it's hard for me to understand coonery, because what you're saying is you don't have a black mother or a black father. This is basically you're denying who you are. This is the fundamental aspect of coonery. Okay, is that you are denying yourself. Okay, so for these black men, okay, to look at our people and tell them that they are going to close the schools where their children go to I get it. It's cold in New York and Chicago. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that you're not even doing that for the people that's already there. Okay, and the other thing that this exposes, again, referring back to the snake with the double forked tongue, is that you have the money. So you don't have the money to help the U.S. citizens that you've got living in homeless camps, okay, that can barely feed themselves, but you can come up with hundreds of millions of dollars for people that are coming to the country. That is a major contradiction in itself, okay? And this coming paradigm shift of Brother Lance is going to hit our people hard, because they're doing it right in our face. It's not like, and I sat down and I watched the buses rolling in, okay, and I'm looking at, and again, when they use the politics, that's why I look at people. I don't care what party they're in. I look at what the individual things that they are doing and saying. But when you look at the situation, and I know people from Texas, a few people, when you look at what they have been dealing with for all of these decades, man, it's overwhelming. It really is. And this is not something that has just been happening. This has been happening for a long time. And, you know, it may be a form of politics, you know, that they're caught up into for the governor of Texas to send all of these people to these different cities. But at the same time, too, there's no way that any one state can handle that type of influx. That is impossible. You know, so you have to have an open mind. What they do with our people is they get them backed into a 90-degree angle and say, oh, well, these people are doing this. And again, there are several reasons for this, which can be part of it. But at the same time, you have to look at the actual reality of what it is. So now that they are in, and I know a lot of our people are going to get angry at me. No, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. Okay. So, you know, I don't play those games. We are in serious trouble as a people and as a country because we are divided. The second Civil War is going to be the destruction of this country. I guarantee you that, okay, because black folks are going to be fighting in the streets with people from these other countries, okay, I guarantee, because it's unfair. It's almost like a form of betrayal where you've given your whole life, the life of your children, your ancestors, to a system that you believed would one day, okay, regardless of all the kumbaya you do, but would someday have a change of heart. And see, this is the thing that our people have never been able to come to grips with because of Christianity. Okay, I'll say it for what it is. I don't care if you get mad at me. This has been the thing that has kept our people from moving forward more than anything else I can think of. And so with that, Brother Lance, I'm going to conclude. This is, you know, this is something that is going to hit our people so hard. It's going to be a gut punch. It is a gut punch right now, but the worst is yet to come. Okay, because we know that when the summertime comes, okay, and tensions rise because of the heat, you know, and people's blood is boiling, you know, and then we have this tremendous warfare going on in our society with people trying to survive. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. And, you know, I know our people believe in praying all the time, but it's going to take more than prayer, okay, for our people, because while we're praying, these other people are actually setting up things to destroy you even more, okay? They have bombed your churches. They have killed people in your churches. They continue to burn down black churches. You don't hear about it.
That's right.
So, you know, the thing is our people just have to accept what the truth is, man. You can't stay in a coma forever. Okay, this is reality. And now, like I said, I was glad to see the people in Chicago standing up to this mayor and their city council and saying, this ain't happening. This is not happening. So there is hope for our people. One of the areas that's going to hit us very, very hard, and our children, okay, because one of the things I see here in California is that people from their cultures tend to hire other people in their cultures. That's just human nature, right? So, and you got black folks walking into these businesses saying, well, ain't no black people working in here, so I ain't gonna, you know. Yeah, no, there are no black people working in there. Because if it's owned by Asians, they're going to hire their own. If it's owned by Latinos, they're going to hire their own. Even in the corporations, like, once they get as managers in these different places, they're going to hire their own. This is basic human survival. And this is why people look at us so crazy. When you look at these East Indian people, they're going to hire their own. I can go down the line. Arab people, they're going to hire other Arabs. So what is wrong with you? Why are we always asking other people to do something that we should be doing for ourselves? Even if you don't get along with each other, and many of these people don't get along with each other. They have the same issues that we have, if not bigger. The difference that I have seen is their ability to put aside these differences and still focus on the primary goal, which is economics. Okay, they're able to do that, you know, and even white people, I even marvel at them over this ability. Why do our people not, with all the knowledge that we have, with all the things that, you know, we are aware of now, what is it that's really preventing us from actually trying to help each other? This is beyond madness now. So yeah, brother. So I'm going to end the presentation. You know, I hope this kind of brought some light into this continuing drama and issue that. But yeah, man, they are planning this. I heard that they're passing out what is $153 million of cards or prepaid cards or. But yet you know you can't do anything for black folks. And again, this is going to create a lot of animosity. It already has.
Exactly.
It has created a tremendous amount of animosity, which it should. So, yeah, brother, I'm glad that we were able to have this discussion today, and I'm looking forward to you know, our next discussion next week. Continue the great work. Continue the great work that you're doing, Brother Lance, because it's necessary. I know a lot of times, you know, when you fight like you do to address, you know, a multitude of issues affecting our people, sometimes it seems like it goes without any type of gratitude. But I'm here to tell you, brother, I'm one that's very grateful for you. I know that people in the chat room, and that's obvious for how the people support you and follow you, that they're grateful as well. And no matter what it seems like, or we know that your platform is very, very necessary for us to continue to move forward. So thank you, brother, and keep up the tremendous work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Sir. I really appreciate you. And that's fuel for the fire. And I'm going to keep on going. You really taught and informed tonight. I just want to say there are a lot of hocus pocus type entities out here who talk about the stars and the moon and the this and that. You broke it down as it is. I know for sure that I have learned something tonight. I wasn't entertained with anything blurry or whatever. I learned some things tonight. I'm going to apply them to my life. And thank you so much for that.
All right, brother Lance. Well, take care, brother.
Okay. Much love. Much love always.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Peace.
Make sure to go to LANCESCURV.com, an online magazine established in 2001, containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of LANCESCURV, trust me, you'll be back for more. LANCESCURV.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.